My name is Accius. Used to not like that name, but then I fell in love with it when I finally decided to open up my own self. We have to discuss certain things, and certain things that we have to discuss is in the room with individuals that we have to discuss it with, especially when it comes to our younger people that are growing up and some of the other older people that are growing back down. When I say growing back down, a lot of us older generations, we can't let go of the younger generation, which holds back the younger generation, that holds down the process. The process is the black community. And in that process, I think in elimination, the unfortunate thing with the gap that we have in our black America, as I would like to call it, we have the young generation not really respecting the older generation and believing that the older generation dropped the ball on the younger generation, and the younger generation is doing more than the older generation, and everybody in the younger generation thinks they know it all. So, if I know more than my OG, why the hell do I need to listen to you? What do you know? What can you tell me about right now? If I'm a young person, what am I gonna do? I know it all. I can do it. Just because you didn't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. So you have this train of thought, and this train of thought has us first lost. But in these proceedings, and I'm looking at it all around, I feel that we're getting found, because now important situations like this African marketplace is something that bridges a gap. Because you have all different generations in our community coming together, working together, benefiting off each other, and everybody is learning. The older are learning about things that they don't know, and the young people are learning about things that they won't even be taught. So now, once you know something, as what is that old saying? If you know better, you're gonna. If you know better, you're gonna. If you know better, you're gonna. So here's the unfortunate thing about things that we know better and we do better. Once upon a time, we were, and I think a lot of brothers and sisters who've come and spoke, we all kind of spoke upon, or we're going to all relatively speak upon the same thing about once upon a time, deep in black America, we were united. Isn't it a scary concept? Like, we were family. I think one of the kings said we had things that were labeled that were ours. We didn't have to share. Right? Once upon a long time ago. But now, in this new era, we seem to have to borrow, beg, plead for everything we have. It's almost like we have to apologize. I'm sorry that I'm black. Can you like me, please? And the answer is exactly what she said. No. And she said the right answer. Because that's what it is. But in that thought and that theory, you have individuals that now, because it's safer, and before, when we had songs like, I'm black and I'm proud, say it loud, you dance like, I'm black and I'm proud. Or even speed it up a little bit earlier in the days, fight the power. You was like, man, I'm walking around here, I got my fist up, I got my medallion on. Some of my people in that generation, the great 80s, we know about that. Can I get a clap on that? Can we get that? You know about that. Hey, I know some of y'all gonna sit there. I'm gonna take mine out today. You know, I'm gonna throw my Spike Lee movie in right now. But the unfortunate thing, we've lost that, and for whatever reason, and I'll go back into '93 when we had the Rodney King riots. Right? You had the riots. You still had a foundation of Africans, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, still furious and still understanding that the treatment of them was incorrect, was unjust, was wrong. And when Rodney King, one of the first episodes of incidents that was on videotape, as we now know, social media and everything else has things going on 24 hours a day. The access is incredible, that we get to finally see the oppressor doing what he does best. Now, in that Rodney King era in 93, 92, those years you still had hungry, fierce blacks that were standing up and weren't taking no shit. Excuse my language for the young kids in here. But that was the reality. But it seemed after we shifted and the riots went and they slowed down, they mellowed out. It was like a paradigm shift. It was a quick, like, change of atmosphere. It was almost like the vibrance of being black, standing tall, saying black, understanding that I'm black. Regardless if you was a half-breed, you're not going to deal with that breed you were. I am black. That's what you're going to say. I'm biracial, but I stick with black. All of a sudden, it shifted off. A paradigm shift happened, and I don't know if it was the master's plan to say, finally, let's give these brothers what they want. Let's give these sisters what they want. Give them a little bit of this illusion. Give them a little bit of power. Give them a little bit of money. Maybe they'll chill out. Because you got to understand what I'm saying. In 93, 92, we was going to tear this mother up. I'm talking about that was like the Watts riot in LA. And it was shifting in places like Berkeley, California. And if you think about it, if we had social media at that time, every single state, as you see it right now with Mike Brown and Eric Gardner, would have probably been that intense. Because it was intense now, but in LA, that was superly intense. By the 10th. And I remember being in the Bay Area, being a little toddler at that time. Not a toddler for real, but you know. And I was like, man, I want to go out there. Because they were doing their thing in Berkeley. And I just remember when it all ceased, then it stopped. Then I watched. And you can't understand it when you're young because you just think, you get fed that lie that all people are created equal. Yeah. So you think that. But then when you watch it and you pay attention from what 93 was to now 2015, you got to back up a little bit. So as I move on to it, I look at it, then all of a sudden, the conscientious attitudes of some of our athletes, our entertainers, most notably our rap artists, it seemed like it's twisted and switched up. It seemed like the same thing that they say they did not want, hip-hop music, all of a sudden the oppressor embraced. And all of us was thinking like, well, yeah, we got it. Our songs are on the radio. Go, go, right? But slowly did we not see the plan was in full effect. But we was too blind to off our rocker to understand it. Because we're thinking like this. We just rioted. We just rolled for Rodney King. Even though we said, can we just all get along? We ain't getting along until we get something. And then all of a sudden, you got to understand the plan of a man, the plan of a person, the plan of these people that have kept us oppressed are now going to give us something? When we've had to fight for everything? We've had to scream for everything? We've had to march for everything. Now we're going to get something? Too good to be true.
What do they want?
Excuse me? Yes, Queen. What is it that they want to give us? I always say to people like this, tell me one thing the government has given us for free that's good. Y'all gonna say the flu shot, and I'm gonna say you're stupid. Y'all gonna tell me the flu shot, I'm gonna say you're stupid. Because everything that's given for free, the welfare system, it's a joke. In this world that we live in, why is it if they're talking and telling us we want people and Americans to eat healthier? Well, why is the produce so expensive? Why is it that we can walk over to McDonald's, buy a meal for about $2.99, but if I wanted to get some fresh vegetables and fruits for my family, I'm going to walk out there and have to spend about $20. And then now they dropped the organic tag. So now if I really want to get something fresh, because that's not fresh enough, you got to get organic. So now I'm walking around with $40. But if I go walk down to McDonald's and I go get a Happy Meal for $2.99, not only am I going to get some burgers and fries, a little drink, and my kids get a little toy. Holla back. So in the reality, when we go back, as I speed it back forward to where we're at, you have to understand it. So when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at now, because I can analyze it better, because I'm free of the ignorance, I'm free of the material, I'm free of the fugaziness that they threw into me. I look at the elements and I say that when they gave power, when they gave wealth, who did they give it to? They gave it to those who probably, more than likely, would take that and run. So they distributed it to individuals in poverty. Why not make this great, arrogant, selfish, self-made brother that was in the hood? Why not give him a couple millions?
Give it right back.
Why not give this ball player that wants to rush out of school? I don't want to do high school. I want to go. Show me the money. Why not give him a check? He ain't going to bring it back to the hood. He ain't going to bring it back to his people. Wow, I'm not going to give the money to somebody that went to a 4 or 5 year college with mind of building this community. I'm not going to give them that good money. No. I'm going to give it to those that are going to decompose and dispose, those who are in their community. I'm going to keep the money right where it needs to be, with me. And that's what we have to sit there and we have to really look at, and we have to realize as we talk about the lost ones, we have to look at the situation in effect, how it was played out. Because they knew we was knocking at the door. And as soon as they figured this out, and then the other thing about it, we created something that they could not hold and they could not stand, and that was a hip-hop brand. And that is another way that Africans can make money, become wealthy, become independent. But we don't want independence, so we're going to bring you right back. Oh, you don't need a record label. Sign with this big distributor right here. That's small time, man. That's major. That's minor league. This is the major league. Understand what I'm trying to say to you people? Give them something that they feel they got it, and we're going to take it right back. And they're going to be so ignorant and so blind of the fact of what we're doing, they're going to play themselves out. You cannot tell me a ball player who makes all that money should be broke. But they're ball players that make all that money. Not only are they broke, but they ain't got nothing to show for it. They can't sit there and say, well, this is the community that I built in. They're sitting there on ESPN 30 for 30 talking about, well, man, I spent $30 million in about a weekend on strippers, booze, and cars, and a whole bunch of friends hanging out. And it's funny, but that's the reality. So why not give that money to those who are not going to think? Because those who are marching, for those who are leaders, they would think. Think about if they gave $1 million to Malcolm X. Think about if they gave about $2.5 million to the Black Panthers. Think about if they gave down money to any of the freedom fighters at that time. But you know what they gave them? They gave them a bullet. They gave them death. So when we look at this whole thing, you cannot think that this thing that we're seeing right now is not done by design. It was framed. We just walked into the frame of the work. And it's unfortunate that now, as we were once lost, now we're found. Because a lot of us are waking up. And a lot of us are hearing the sound, and that goes back into the generational gap. Because now, each generation from past to now are seeing something's wrong here. Hold up, let me check this out. I'm gonna YouTube this. Wait a minute. Hey, Mom, what's this more stuff that you're talking about? What's this more? What is a more? Is it cores or is it more? Talk to me, Mom! They don't get it. They're like, wait a minute. Hold up. No. Hey, Dad, my teacher told me Christopher Columbus. And you're telling me something that Christopher Columbus found this place, Dad? No, son, look right over here. Well, goddamn, Dad. So things ain't adding up because we're being able to think again. Because we're not blinded. Because we're not subsided by what they gave us. And it was the jiggy era. And I can't lie. My queens is in there like, hey. I can't lie. I was caught up one time. We all was. You know, if you dig a jig, hey, yeah. You couldn't tell me that wasn't really black living. Because that's what it was. We was getting money. You can't tell me that's not what the black dream is all about, ain't it? Because when you see us in poverty, when they tell you and sit you down, guess what, honey, you were a slave. I know it's bad, but you guys were. But don't tell you the framework of what slavery does once you get a piece of a little bit. When you see Michael Jordan, dunking, yo, that's me. I'm going to be mine. Be mine. That's me, mama. Let me keep dribbling. But here it is. We just become slaves to the moment. We just grasp onto what they are pushing to us. I want to be like Mike. Why not be like Malcolm? Why not be like Martin? Why not be like Marcus Garvey? Why not be like Muhammad Ali before he broke down and spoke truth? Jim Brown when he spoke truth. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when these brothers spoke truth. No, we're going to give you all the gimmicks you want. And so every time someone comes in a frame that is stated to be the black man that made it, the Tiger Woods of the world, they'll throw it and say, Black America, you've made it. And it makes everyone think that you've made it. And I'm here to tell you, friends, we didn't make it because they don't represent us. They represent what is called is this new black. And this new black thing, it's kind of confusing because, you know, Pharrell, I personally, you know, I like his music. You know, he's made some hit songs. But the unfortunate thing about it is when you see artists like that try so hard to move away from what the reality is and the truth is, and I understand that us blacks in here need to hold ourselves accountable, we do. But when you're on the stand in front of the media, you know what I mean? Like that's like me and my daughter, we go through a whole bunch of things. But the real stuff that goes on in our household is between me and her. But when you're in front of a podium, in front of our oppressors, in front of our enemies, and you basically tell us, well, we just need to do better, and I don't think anything, you gotta just do what you need to do, and I'm black, but I don't use that against me. You know, brother, you had a talent. Your mama wasn't on crack. Your daddy might not have been involved, but your daddy wasn't just all over the place. Your life was different than the other person's life. But you cannot sit there and speak for a whole community when a whole community, as it's seen from the evidence, has been wiped out. Genocide because of what the oppressor has done. So you cannot tell me that us blacks shouldn't be pissed off. You cannot tell me that it's not time for us to be frustrated. You cannot tell me that we don't deserve something from what your people have done. You cannot say that. I know we have to be held accountable, but do not tell me or try to explain to me that I'm not thinking race has anything to do with it. Race has everything to do with it. See, the thing about this new black, this Charles Barkley, come on, name some names to me. Charles Barkley, Pharrell, who else? Raven Simone. But at the same time, what they want to push an agenda that is not our agenda. And I say to all these individuals, if you really want to change something, why don't you come over to the hoods all over America, come over to Sacramento, come see us and come change something. Because that's my plea to them. Don't just talk it. Just don't go to the Boys and Girls Club. Don't just go to the NAACP. Just don't go to the local urban leagues. Go to grassroots places like Sojourner and find the people that are really here making the impact, doing the work. Not just parading around, oh, this is the Boys and Girls Club. We've been here for 50 years. When most of these organizations was given and delivered by a white man. It was his plea deal. Sorry, black people, can you just calm down and shit? We'll get this. That's what they do. And we buy it. Hook, sinker, and go. Banana in the tailpipe every single time. So when you have these so-called athletes like Charles Barkley spewing hatred for his own people, and we sit there and we continue to watch or parade around him like, well, he's just got his opinion, he's black. These brothers, these sisters that speak down need to be eliminated. And I'm not talking about death, because I do not promote any time of killing or anything, but they need to be eliminated in the circle of black and the movement and pushing forward. Because I will tell you this, if the race war comes and all teams are divided, them brothers come knocking on over there, I will be the first one to say, oh, no, not in here, bro. You got to go that way. Because it is too many brothers and sisters, Stacey Dash, for instance, that feel they have this eliteness. And this is the problem with Africans. We feel we have this eliteness. We feel that when we've made it, that we can now sit there and ponder and say, well, I did it. What's wrong with you? We want to point the finger, why haven't you done it better, bro? But not understanding that everybody's opportunities are different. Charles Barkley, if you wasn't a brother in Auburn, and if you wasn't a brother that dunked, a brother that rebounded, do you really think those behinds would care about your behind?
That's why they have scouts.
Listen, you got to understand you got a talent, Pharrell. If you couldn't make those beats, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. If you couldn't do that and cross over, do you really think, my Negro, that you would even be thought of? And the funny thing about some of these Negroes, when Pharrell, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking that Pharrell's dope, but I do remember him saying, chop it like it's hot, chop it like a, when a pimp's in the hood, drop it like that. And you are the same brother talking about blacks need to do better. Well, then help us do better and make better lyrics for us to do better. If you want to speak on what we are doing wrong, Mr. Charles Barkley, stop beating up people. Stop assassinating people's character. Stop being ignorant like a buffoon on TV. Because all they have you there is a big black clown. Put Charles Barkley on. You know he's going to say something stupid. And there he goes. What do you guys want me to do now? Do something in the community. My whole thing, if you want to create the change, you want to see become the change. And in here, what we have on this beautiful Saturday, every other month, you have something that is powerful, something that brings in life, something that says new, something that says found. You have us taking back power. And that is the most important thing that we have to do in this new black that they want to claim. I claim in this new black, it's a new black of seeing the vision. It's a new black of seeing the dedication. It's a new black of embracing your African ancestors. It's a new black of looking at your young queens and calling them, give me your hand, young queen. Seeing your OG, peace king. It's that new black when I see the young G. Young G, how you? What up, baby? You good? Peace king. That's the new black when we find ourselves loving each other again. Going back to what it used to be. So this new black is actually the old black, brothers and sisters. We going back where we used to be, where we unified together. And as like Pharrell said, we were happy. Da, 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 da. That's the movement that we on. So when we talk about lost and found, before we were lost and now we're found, but we have to understand these people that are putting out this new black and want to try to portray that what happened in the past should not delay our process. I will say, and I will indicate this, we must hold ourselves accountable, but we must also understand the interesting facts of what happened in our past. And I will say that every single person, you name to me one person that has done you wrong. And if they have not said sorry or shown that they apologize, have you dealt with them? And if you have, that is your mistake when they stab you in the back and do the same damn thing again. So how do we, as Africans, hold ourselves up when we haven't even got a letter of apology, a check in our bank account, nor them even admitting the things that they've done? Genocide in our community. Crack cocaine, killing of our leaders. What happened to the Panthers? What did they do wrong? All I see what they did was the things that you, after you destroyed them, put into your own communities and processed by elimination. These are the cold facts. So when brothers want to speak to me or speak to you about the new black, you tell them, yeah, the new black is going back to where we used to be, unified, defying the odds, fearless, and taking back power. Because that's the way the new black is supposed to be. Not shutting out or separating any of our people in the struggle. Embracing them. Not putting our dirty laundry out to the public, but communicating it to our people indoors, because ain't no other community besides the black community go out and yap about their business. They do it moving. So the new focus is this. We get these little youngsters, we raise them up, we get us ourselves, some of us older folks, we raise ourselves up, we learn our history, and we slow down the process. Ain't no old 40-year-old need to be running in the club like, hey. You don't need to be there. You need to be like, yo, G, that's you, B. Go do that. See you. Love you. See you. You got to pass the baton. What you holding on for? Give it up. I don't got no time to be dancing with someone. How old are you? I'm 18. No. I know your daughter. Oh, no. We used to go to school together. Oh, no. We don't need to do that. So the new black is taking back black and taking back power and focusing it back on ourselves. Because we were lost and now we're found. And to be honest with you, with all the tragedy that has happened, I am actually happy that we saw the hand of the oppressor, and we know that they are still the exact same way they were 500 years ago. Still meddling, still evil, still conniving. Do we have to hold ourselves accountable? True indeed. But we also have to be aware of the master's plan. And we also have to be understanding that us as a people, us, not as individuals, hear me when I say this, us as a people, can we say that together? Us as a people, not an individual, takes back power. I salute my beautiful queen right over here for being one of the orchestras of this whole movement right over here. Let's give it a big hand. And I leave you guys with this. Black people are the most powerful people, but the most powerless people because we do not use our power. It's time to use our power. Stay black, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right.